picture at Los Angeles 2024.
Oh, welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever gonna need to listen to. Who am I? I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I'm Kerri Doherty, and today we're doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of the Golden Girls and offer new insights since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014. And it's time to grab your paddles and a blanket that you made love on up and down the Florida coastline because we just rewatched season 4, episode 11, The Auction. And before we announce our very special guest joining us today in the GGVIP Club, you're getting an all-new Rusty Anchor Happy Hour bonus episode. Since we're talking about auctions in this week's episode, we're going to share some of our favorite pages from the Betty White Estate auction books from Julian's Auctions. It's very beautiful to look into her life and legacy. It's a celebration of everything she gave to us. So you can join the GGVIP Club. Check that out at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. And to get into our very special guest, joining us today is one of our favorite GG artists. You know him as the face behind Golden Girls posters. He also puts all of our favorite Golden Girls quotes on t-shirts like, "God, I wish I was dead." Please welcome friend of the podcast and an artist who's way nicer than Jasper DeKimmel, Chris Gallo.
Oh
Hi,
my God,
Chris.
it's a pleasure to be here.
You
Oh my God,
you got to say it like it's a pleasure to be here.
it's a pleasure to be here. Oh my God, this is
Welcome.
amazing. Thank you for having
in the
me.
making, isn't it?
It
It's a long
is,
time
it
in the
is.
making. I mean, we've spoken of your work and been a fan of yours for so many years now. So it's so fantastic to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I will also say for those watching on video, they will appreciate that you're wearing a Scream for the Governess shirt and a pin of the yellow R mug, which I really appreciate.
And also the actual R mug.
I love it.
Good.
I love it.
I mean, are you even a Golden Girls fan if you don't have your own R cup?
I don't think so. Or at the very least, have a joke ready about the R cup. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think HAlan / Sadie Pines. I forget which birthday it was. I mean, you're only 25, so you were probably in your teens.
Yeah.
But I remember I made you a homemade. I couldn't find
and
one, so I made it.
Over there. It got broken in the move. The handle got broken off, but it's a cute little cup that I can just hold with both my hands and go.
Yeah. Yeah. I baked it in the oven. I did a whole thing. Chris and I think we finally got to meet in person at Golden Con last year. And I feel like we both just sort of equally fangirled on each other. And I immediately ran over to your booth. You were with Kay and Barrett from
So Good We Named It.
So Good We Named It. I was like, I almost said enough Wicker. I was like, oh no, I'm mixing up my podcast from So Good We Named It. And yeah, so everybody has to go check out Chris's fantastic. Chris just takes posters like Death Becomes Her, The Burbs, and
iconic.
and turns them into Golden Girls posters in the most fantastic way.
Let me throw out a little bit of queer joy here for the posters that Chris creates, because there is a level. I mean, anyone who follows me on Instagram knows there's a level of sort of queer pop culture love for women of a certain age, of course, but also which is why we love the Golden Girls, but also these films, these movies, these actresses that are in these films, like Death Becomes Her, like Misery, like First Wives Club, like
To Wong
Step
Fu.
Mom, To Wong Fu. I mean, that's that's a whole other separate conversation, actually. To Wong Fu, that's not even in the level of Death Becomes Her. And Chris then combines the sort of gay bar queer sort of vernacular that everyone is speaking in, and then throws the Golden Girls into them, and it is brilliant.
I mean, I somehow managed to make gay movies even gayer by adding the Golden Girls. So
it's true.
There you go.
You really do. I mean, and that's what's so incredible about it and about what you do is that not only does it speak to the Golden Girls fandom, which obviously that's why you're here and we love you very much, but it also speaks to, I think, that queer pop culture fandom that's out there that, of course, knows about the Golden Girls, but someone can see your stuff and be like, well, I don't know anything about the Golden Girls, but that's funny. Death Becomes Her with Golden Girls on it. Like people can still appreciate it, you know?
Right. I always try to do a good mix of, generic. Okay, this is Jeff Becomes Her with, B. Arthur and Rue
Mm-hmm.
McClanahan and Stan. But
Mm-hmm.
then I like to do the deep cut references that only like, really crazy
Yeah. What
fans
are
would
some of
like know.
those? Give
Oh,
us
well,
some
I can
Oh
say one
God.
right off the bat. One of
Oh,
my favorite ones is it's the Tu Wong Fu. It's to Kim
oh,
Fung Toy.
Tip
Thanks for
on Toy.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one. I like 'cause I just posted the other day, I'll post the same things over, because I've been doing it for about almost 5 years now, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and I do
Oh my God.
the Hand That Rocks the Cradle of Idiocy, because like I mean
Ooh.
that's a really really obscure reference, and
When
but
when
if
she
you
falls
know,
through that greenhouse, I mean, that
oh
that's
poor
Sophia
Julian Moore.
jumping off of Blanche's like Mammy's house or whatever. Like that's Blanche doing that. Or no, Sophia doing that, excuse me. Like
Yeah,
so funny.
it's
So
okay.
funny.
Rose broke her fall, so
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I did want to ask you,
yeah.
have you designed a shirt or a poster around this episode yet, around the auction?
Yes, I know I did. I know they make in the art gallery scene. Rose tells the St. Olaf story about her uncle Gustav being a coal
Mhm.
mimer, and I did do a poster for the coal mimer's daughter.
Which
So,
I mean, which again, like even
like,
that,
that's
'cause, like,
that's really obscure, right?
that is so obscure because, like, I mean, I know Coal Miner's Daughter, Sissy Space
Mhm.
Act, Academy
Oh yeah.
Award winning, amazing, but like, so
That's so perfect.
only like 4 even gay dudes at the gay bar know about Sissy Spacek and Coal Miner's Daughter, and I'm one of them.
Mhm.
And when you combine those two things, it just becomes just so
Mhm.
much joy. There's just so much
Yeah.
joy that comes from it, you know?
I did the movie, the movie Casper the Friendly Ghost, the
Do I
90s.
know it?
I did one just called Jasper with Jasper DeKimmel as Casper. So, so
That's
like,
amazing.
Have there been any that you have? I always kind of love to ask this. I asked someone else this earlier today. Are there any that you've done that you were like super excited about that nobody really got?
yeah, okay. So, not to like sound like too crazy, but I sit there and I'll just be watching TV or the Golden Girls, and these things just, ideas come into my head, and I'll sit there and I'm doing it all on my phone, and I sit there and I will crack myself up. And I'm laughing, and it feels like the more I laugh while I'm making it, like this is gonna be so good. It's like those are the ones that just like totally like bomb. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like 20 likes or something. Not that it's all about that, but
No, but it
it's
is.
just like yeah.
You're so
Sometimes
right.
I don't know why some hit more than others. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the time I post it. Social media is a weird thing. So
I totally get that. I remember I did the exact same thing, not Golden Girls related, but I did thing with Reba from the show Reba, and I was
Mhm.
obsessed. I was obsessed with breaking down into meme form the song, the main title song, and just having Reba like doing pictures with the titles, and I was laughing as I was making it because it was so funny to me, and that was like my least performing, like the worst performing post in months. Like
Oh.
nobody cared, but I was like, this is so funny.
Mhm.
Well, I have a memory of Chris when I first discovered the t-shirts that you made. So me, H. Allen, Elliot Glazer, Alaska, we're all on a GG text thread. And when I found your shirts, I just started screen grabbing a bunch of them and I'm sending them. I remember laughing out loud so hard at reading it's a Dorothy quote. It's I have to wake up. I have to get up early in the morning.
I have to,
I have to go to work.
work early in the morning.
And you wrote HAFTA, HAFTA, and I just could picture the author. I have to wake up to go to work early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard when and I was like, guys, I want all of these shirts. It made me laugh so hard. And I just remember I was bombarding this text thread and everybody was laughing and loving it. So
yeah, of course.
Oh, that's
you
wonderful.
really,
I'm honored.
you're doing the Lord's work with these shirts and these posters that you're making because they're so funny. The deep cut ones are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
So just
I
keep
do
on
wanna
doing
ask,
it.
before we get into the episode, because of course we have to get into the episode pretty soon, but I do, just as like a Golden Girls VIP yourself, like when did you get into the Golden Girls? Like when did that start for you?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm around your guys' age. So I'm also 25.
Also
Yes.
25, yeah.
25.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so I remember the show originally airing. Kind of had that same story of growing up being at your grandparents' house and it being on Saturday nights, but not really being super into it. It wasn't until the Lifetime years where we were flipping through the TV one Saturday or Sunday afternoon. It was like I was with my sister and she stops and the Golden Girls is on. And she goes, "Oh my God, remember the show?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that show about old ladies. I don't want to watch this." She's like, "No, let's watch it." We put it on. I don't even remember what episode it was, unfortunately. At the end of that 30 minutes, I was a different person. I
Yeah.
was laughing so hard. I was probably like in like 7th or 8th grade. This was probably like 97, 96, 97, 98.
Mhm.
And I thought it was the funniest thing. And I just started watching it on Lifetime. And then I started recording all the episodes. I had
Mhm.
all 180 episodes recorded off of TV on VHS.
Oh
And
my
this is
God.
before, IMDb, where you can just look
Yeah.
up. I would just put a tape in and hit record and hope that it was one I hadn't like recorded yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
incredible.
That's dedication.
That is
yeah,
such
basically
dedication.
since then I've just been obsessed.
There
I
is
used
a-
to like
Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say I used to like play the episode and then record. Remember like the Talk Boy from like Home Alone 2? I had like
course.
one of those, and I would like record clips of the episodes onto like a cassette tape, and then I would just sit there in my room and listen to them over and over
Yep.
again. And then when I started driving, that's what I would listen to in the car.
Oh,
I would have like
love
my
that.
audio tapes of like Golden Girls, and it would just like
You were
burned
essentially
into my
doing like
brain.
the old school TikTok back, like that's essentially TikTok. You just
Yeah.
having clips of just audio. What I love about that Lifetime era, and that's such a specific era, because for so
Yep.
many it's TV Land or Logo or a lot of the new generation. That's what they go to. But for our generation, who were alive when the show went off the air, but weren't necessarily old enough to be watching it in a regular sort of way. When it went into syndication, particularly on Lifetime, in that era of Lifetime, the intimate portrait era of Lifetime, and those 5 years of our lives of it being on Lifetime was life-changing in a way. Like that programming on Lifetime at that time was literally a blanket. It was a slow Michael Bolton song of joy and love mixed with sitcom comedy. And it was just
Lifetime television for women.
to this day.
And 12-year-old boys who are watching the Golden Girls.
Yep,
I mean, let's
yep.
be honest.
Yep. Totally. I'm obsessed. Well, should we take a break and get into the episode, Kerri? What do you think?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I say this every week, but I have so much stuff I'm so excited to talk about and break down with both of you about this episode.
Well, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
And we are back with Chris Gallo talking about the auction. We're going to jump right in with a clip because at the top of this episode, we get such a great Rose joke right
so
off
good.
the bat. So
So
like,
good.
I just want to start with that. Let's start off on a strong note.
The ceiling in your room leaking too?
No, Dorothy, I just finished milking the cow I keep in my closet. Gee, with only 3 hours sleep, I can be as bitchy as you.
There is something so
I love the profanity.
I love the profanity, but also it's something that I love what the writers did of this show. They knew that Rose was a particular type of character that never went low, never went mean, never really cursed. And they would save those moments for just the right moment. It's like they never wasted the moment to have Rose curse because they knew when it hit, it needed to hit. And that joke, I mean, that's a joke that Golden Girls fandom literally, I mean, I say it even to non-Golden Girls fans. Like it's a joke that's just in my head at all times.
I love when we get bitchy Rose, like but I mean, there's the time she channels it through the dog when she's like, "That's okay, Rose. I used to live with a couple of bitches myself." But it's always so surprising to me in those moments when like Rose can be a little bit of a cunt, you guys, and I loved it.
Yeah, we love Cunty Rose. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I enjoy that. I love their their selective uses of profanity, like bitch, is just perfectly timed throughout the whole series. And actually, one thing that's interesting that I wrote down, I can remember Dorothy, Blanche, and Rose all saying the word bitch at some point throughout the series, but I don't think Sophia ever says bitch ever, which I find interesting. And I don't know if that, and I, because Dorothy says, is killed a bitch, a traditional St. Olaf game or whatever it is. And then Blanche says in the 72 Hours episode, I acted like a real bitch to everyone else. And I can't think of a time where Sophia ever like used the word bitch. And I don't know if that was like on purpose, if because she
slut a lot, but not bitch. You're right. Yeah.
But I can't think of a time when
I can't either. Can you, Kerri?
She said that word.
I can't off the top of my head, but it's also interesting because she's sort of the one with no filter, right? She's the one who, out of all of
That's
the women,
why I find it so fascinating.
So you would sort of expect it to come out of her mouth.
She also, and this is, I think, maybe has something to do with the generation that she's from, is that, women of that generation didn't necessarily curse in sort of, it wasn't necessary, like she probably was not brought up cursing the way that Dorothy Spornak would be in sort of a 60s influenced, 70s influenced woman. You know what I mean? Like she wouldn't be having that sort of vernacular. So I can kind of see it being a thing that they did for that character because of her age.
I can also understand why she's so upset, because like leaky roofs suck. Like it's a big problem here in LA. We have a flat roof. I'm literally right outside of my roof right now. And I don't know why in LA they love a flat roof and they get these little pinholes. And the thing is, when you have a leaky roof, it's not just like, oh, it's leaking right there and it's leaking right down here. That shit travels down wooden beams. So sometimes it's really hard to get to where the leak is. So I get why Rose is actually being like kind of bitchy about it. It really sucks. And it sucks if water's dripping on you when you're trying to sleep also.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond that, when you're trying to sleep, this happened to me last night. I'm just going to say it. When you're trying, and Michael, God love Michael, but he stays up all night working, and he was like pounding something into a corset last night. I don't know what he was doing. It was like 3 a.m. and I was just like, that was my leaky roof. I was just like, what are you doing? It's 3 a.m. in the morning. I've got to get up early in the morning.
You're like that episode where they're trying to fix the toilet and she's like, Rose, you know what's on the other side of the, like what you're hammering? She's like, my head. That was your
that was me. I literally walked out of the room. I had my face mask, my sound thing around my ears, everything. Like I had the whole thing. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was B. Arthur last night, guys. I was B. Arthur.
Yeah, I don't like a dripping faucet and a ticking, any of that when I sleep. So let alone like a leaky roof. It's terrible.
Nobody likes. And Blanche is like weirdly nonplussed for someone whose ceiling caved in the night before. And who owns the house?
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
And then we meet Sid Labasse, the roofer, who's
what a great actor.
Great actor.
He's
and
good.
also
He's good.
Great character name. I feel like only second to Chugger Dietz in terms of having like a really cool character name on this show. This man, the actor is amazing. The man is the worst. Like he walks in with dog shit. He's like sick and like open mouth.
Go home.
Yeah. And he doesn't even need to inspect the roof. Ugh.
I wrote, "Ew, go home. He's sick." In a post-COVID world, like go home.
Yeah. No.
I've used so many things differently in a post. Like I was just watching the episode where I think it was when one of the women was sick. It was when they were like coaching, Rose was coaching Pee Wee football or something. And I was like, why are people sick and hanging out with each other? When the doctor comes over, when they all have the flu, why doesn't the doctor have a mask? In a in a COVID world, it's so easy now to be like, what the fuck? So Sid Labasse is like, I don't even need to inspect the roof or like internal damage. I'm just going to tell you need a new roof, which is going to cost 10,000 because he can't even finish the word.
Which, I mean, yeah, that also pisses me off. People who abbreviate words that don't need to be abbreviated. You know what I mean? Like, thou is not something that you... No one says that. Like, you don't need to short...
Sid Labasse does.
Someone did that to a word recently, and I was just like,
I think it was me. You did it
Was
to
it
me
you?
recently. Yeah.
Okay,
And I
yeah,
was
maybe
like,
it was
"What?"
you.
It
Yeah,
was
I
me.
mean, that's not some words don't need to be shortened. Does it save time? What the thousand is enough? Is like the one syllable word was too much?
It's like 1 second of your life. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
But then
we're
when
not
you
that
call
episode
it
of The
out,
Office.
I know, I was going to say, it's just like that
All right.
episode of The Office.
Yeah.
So Sid Labasse is like, look, so yeah, it's 10,000 for a new roof, or like a couple hundred, I can do a patch job. But he basically says that the next time it rains, it's gonna leak. So it's like, why even do a patch job? But the
And it's
women,
Florida. It's gonna rain.
and
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
rain.
rain, and the
Yeah.
women can't afford a new roof, so they're stressed out. And then Blanche is like, let's, go to this gallery party, because why did they go there again? Was it just she was invited or something? But they're
Well-
gonna go to a gallery party for Jasper DeKimmel and other
Yeah.
artists' artwork.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, and then of course it all starts to unfold while they're at the gallery. I mean, this artist, Jasper, is a dick.
He is a dick.
He's a dick. So
I mean, he painted his dick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean, there you go. He's phallic oriented.
I do in this scene, I love Dorothy's purple velvety jacket and silver
Yes.
blouse with the built-in bow
Classic.
tie. I love that
Mhm.
outfit. I have a story. Well, not really a story, but the mime. Okay.
Yeah.
I looked
I
him
love a
up.
mime.
I love a mime. I love a good mime.
I don't. I
Go
don't love
on.
a mime.
Go ahead. Tell us.
I don't love a mime.
Let's hear
I
this.
don't.
Go
no,
ahead.
I don't.
Shit on mimes right now.
I will shit on a mime. I sort of feel like Sophia in that episode, that Christmas episode where they're all at the airport and she tells the Hare Krishna or whatever to like call your mother and
Like,
get a job. And like literally that's what I think of when I see mimes. I'm like, you're just a lazy clown. You know what I mean? Like mimes to me are lazy clowns.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sorry.
The mime community
Hot
is
take.
not happy with you right now.
Oh,
Listen,
God.
I'll be the
This
Star
is like
Jones if I
Oprah
need
with the
to.
beef.
Listen,
This is like
I'm
Oprah
here.
with the beef people.
And you know what? I'll go to Virginia if I need to stand my case. I will win. I will win this trial of mimes because guess what? They won't be talking and I will.
They're all
that is true.
angrily fuming inside of a box right now. I really think, because I always thought it was interesting that the writers came up with this idea to have a mime performing in an art gallery. Like it's not really a 1-for-1. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I bet that somebody somewhere, one of the writers came up with coal mimer and they worked
Mhm.
backwards from there. It
From there.
started with Rose's
Makes
story.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, oh, that could be a fun way to do it. I did look up the mime. His
Mhm.
name is Derek Lofgren, and he's like the go-to mime for network television.
Oh, wow.
He
He's like
played
the
a
guy who plays the
mime.
Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's like
that
the guy
one
who plays
guy.
the Pope, who plays
Yeah.
Pope John Paul II in like every single movie
Everything.
and
Like,
sitcom.
all the way up to like,
This is
Sister Act.
The mime
Yeah.
guy. So most recently, he played a mime in the Night Court revival in 2024, just this year. He
Oh,
played a mime
wow.
on That 70s Show on
He's
Nurses.
still playing a mime. Does he still look like the mime from 1986?
I don't know. I didn't watch him on
Oh.
Night Court. But he was also a mime on Nurses.
I feel like
Susan
being a
Harris show?
mime requires a tight face.
Why?
Because you got to be expressive, and like if you got a lot of like saggy skin, it's like not gonna really, the makeup's not gonna look good unless you tape. You know what I mean? Like this is coming from a drag queen here, and I know how to tape my
That's
face.
true. You do
Oh,
have
that's true.
experience.
Yeah, like
Well-
the face has to be tight.
Well, maybe he does have a tight face because he's been a mime in a bunch of stuff. Also, a TV show called Throb. He played a mime. I don't know what that show's
Mhm.
about, but we could.
Sounds
Anyway.
sexual.
Then
I'm
we
gonna
meet.
Google that later.
Yeah.
Google Throb later. Then we meet Jasper DeKimmel, played by the late great British actor Tony Steedman, who also
Mm.
played Socrates in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I want to paint a little picture for the three of you, because as I was watching Jasper DeKimmel be an absolute asshole to these women, I was like, what would have been a really fun show is Jasper DeKimmel, Frida Claxton, and Barbara Thorndike as their own like threes company.
Oh.
But instead of getting into fun hijinks, they're just always miserable, like spitting in each other's coffee and
Or
you
even
know,
better,
frowning.
they're all friends because they are miserable, and then they just every episode is them pissing people off and figuring out how to like settle the situation that they found themselves in because they pissed everyone off. And the end of every episode is them just going, oh, well.
And the show's called Misery Loves Company.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
We literally just created a whole episode. Wow.
That is
that's why we're in Hollywood, baby.
That's the only Golden Girls reboot we need, really.
Wait, I need to ask, because of the
Okay.
Jasper being an asshole of it all. Have you guys ever encountered someone being that much of an asshole to your face? Chris, please start.
Oh my God. I don't think so.
No?
Not that
Ever?
I can think. No, I don't think so.
You would remember.
I
definitely
would. I
remember.
would. Come back to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll think about it a little.
Okay.
But I don't think so.
What about you, Kerri? I have.
Yeah, you go first and I'll think.
It happened recently. I was a couple of weeks ago, and someone literally called me an asshole when I was being very nice and friendly. And it was like I was being accosted because apparently they were booked on one of my podcasts, but then the producer didn't follow up or whatever. And so they literally started the conversation by being like, you're an asshole. And I was like, oh, okay. And they proceeded to be very mean to me. And I was just like, I'm sorry that it was a miscommunications, but this is not a good way of handling it, sir. And they came at me very hard, similar to Jasper, just being a very asshole person.
Is it an actor?
thing. No, a writer.
Mm.
A writer. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
A real Barbara Thorndike. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry you had that experience. I don't
Oh, it's
think...
fine. I won. They're never doing the podcast. It's fine.
Good. It's so easy to just be nice to people.
Exactly. It's not hard.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had somebody, like, when I'm sort of there to view someone's work or something, I don't think I've ever had anybody be that, like, blatantly mean to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had someone once when I did the IMDb show, there was a man who was on our show who just, like, acted like I wasn't there, like would only talk to the other man on the show. But
Really?
I'll tell you about it offline.
Please.
We do.
Spill it.
Everybody's going to go onto my IMDb page now and try to figure out who it is. I do love when the women are admiring his, like, dick self-portrait
His DeKimmel.
His DeKimmel.
It's DeKimmel.
That we get a classic Dorothy. Whoa! When the same one when she opens the cake.
Yeah.
Yes, I love a Dorothy. Whoa! I love a Dorothy seeing a penis.
Mm-hmm.
A whoa follows. Classic.
Whenever
Classic
a penis
PR there.
appears on the Golden Girls, I mean, whenever a penis appears in general in my life, I'm very much excited and ready, but particularly on the Golden Girls.
I did hate the way that Jasper baits them into, like, talking about his art and then insults them. I think that's where
It's-
that's where it's the grossest. It's not like he's just rude to them, but he sets them up to look like idiots. And it's like, and I think that, that was intentional from the writers, because they're like, we're going to tell everybody that this guy's going to die and nobody needs to feel bad for him.
Yeah. I
And-
think that's fine.
But he's such a dick. But I do want to play the tail end of that interaction with him and the women, because Dorothy does have a really funny joke.
And do you see how I convey humor with my cycle of blues and grays?
Oh, yes.
You're idiots. The only humor here is my own. It's your great stupidity. This picture no more echoes Monet than any of you echo a beauty queen. And you will waste no more of my time.
Oh, yeah?
Go easy on him, Rose.
Okay, first off, that piece of shit was able to somehow call them idiots and that they're ugly in the span of 2 sentences. My second thought is, proof that they are not ugly is Rose's outfit. Oh my God, she looked so good in this scene. The blue with the cinched waist, she looked so good.
Also, if you close your eyes as you're just listening to Jasper DeKimmel's speech, if you were just, like, walking by someone's window and you, like, overheard this scene, I would be like, oh, they're probably watching, like, Lord of the Rings or something. Like, he sounds so, like, Gandalf to me.
Fantastical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's
I can
just
see
like
that.
when I don't see it in front of me and I just hear the accent and he's like, your words, I'm like, wizard, you shall not pass. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a distinguished British voice
is that your
thing,
Ian
but-
McKellen? You shall not pass. That's so funny. I'm gonna
No,
start
I
doing
like
that.
I like to do my Ian McKellen. It's from when he did an episode of Extras and he was talking about his method and he's like talks about how he's Sir Ian, and then he goes into character and he's explaining it and he goes, and then I'm Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, action, wizard, you shall not pass, cut, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian. Do you know that scene?
No,
I don't. I've
I'm
only
gonna
seen the
watch
Kate
it now.
Winslet episode of
Same.
Extras.
Oh,
Again,
she's
now
like
see, this
licking
goes
her
back to what I was
tit.
saying. This goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. At the beginning of the episode, that there are queer things that only queer bar people will talk about, and if it's the show's extras, it's only the Kate Winslet.
Kate
Episode.
Winslet
We're
episode.
only talking about the Kate Winslet episode.
Why not? Why not Ian McKellen?
It's just not gay enough for us.
It's not gay. He's not gay enough.
He's not gay enough.
No.
That's
Wait,
so funny.
We should take a break and come back with more. We need to take a break, Cease.
Okay, because we have to talk about the towel.
Yes.
Towel.
Okay, good.
And we are back, and these women they're going through it, right? They've just had the most miserable experience with Jasper DeKimmel. Their roof is leaking again, and the towel conversation. Chris, I want to see this as a shirt in some way.
Oh my god, I'd love to fit the whole thing on there. But
As
Is
much
it
as you
Skippy?
can
I
fit.
brought my Skippy.
It
Is
is.
Skippy?
Yeah.
And we have it as a
Skip
clip
it.
because
Mhm.
it's, to me, the most iconic moment of this
That
episode.
is pretty great.
Oh, no, you cannot replace this towel. There are too many fond memories attached to this towel.
Blanche, please, I am in no mood to hear about the parade of endless sexual encounters that you have experienced up and down the Florida coastline. With only this towel between your hot flesh and the cold, wet sand.
I brought my son Skippy home from the hospital in this towel jar.
You're lying, Blanche.
Damn, you're good.
Oh,
Nothing-
up
there's-
and down the Florida
Oh, the
coastline.
coastline.
There is no better moment than when B. Arthur is yelling and it sounds like she needs a lozenge. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's when you know we're at peak B. Arthur.
Mhm.
Also, it's such a surprising joke because it's like, oh, you think it's something sexual. And then she's like, no, I brought my son Skippy home from the hospital in this towel. And you're like, your guard is down. You're like, oh, that's funny. We always make this assumption about Blanche. And then they buy it right back by her going, you're lying, Blanche. Damn, you're good. Like,
So good.
they tricked us. That was like comedic whiplash right there. It was so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also just love how you kind of get a little glimpse of the towel. Like I always wanted to like see the towel, and you just kind of see a leg.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's
like
just kind of-
silhouette.
Yeah, it's just the silhouette, and it's like you want to like see the whole thing, but your imagination just like goes with it. So
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
Totally.
Chris, I know someone who could probably design the whole towel.
Oh, yeah. I think I do too.
How would you spell if you were gonna put the word if you were gonna
Towel.
put I brought my son Skippy home with that
Towel.
towel? How would you spell towel
Towel.
on the shirt? Because you're really good at
God,
that.
Yeah, let's see, towel, T-A. I feel like there should be like W-L towel.
I mean, it
don't
sounds
know.
Yeah.
like
That's
she's
a-
saying
that's
owl.
a good
like
one.
maybe
Yeah.
T-A-O-W-L? Towel.
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 Owl.
Towel.
I feel like it sounds like
Towel.
Jack McFarlane doing like Cher, like
Yeah.
towel.
Whoa.
Oh.
No, it's more like
It's a-
Oh. Turn back town.
Towel. Towel.
Tom.
I'm just gonna pull this as its own little clip to post on social media. And there will be like one person that's like, "Oh shit, they're doing Jack."
Yeah,
from,
I get it. I
from
get it.
Will and Grace.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Towel. Sorry.
it is. It is nice that Dorothy and Rose agree to chip in on the new roof when they don't
Yeah.
own the house. They don't have any equity in this house. it is nice that they're like, yeah, I could cash this in, I could sell this or whatever. I've got some savings.
They're a family. That's what families do.
Yeah.
It's wild though. Like, have you ever had a landlord say, "We need a new roof. Let's all chip in"? That's so weird.
I know, but I did have an old roommate once who extensively wanted to like remodel an apartment we were renting, and I was like, "We're renting. Like,
Yeah.
why are you putting that kind of money on to this? You know what I mean? Like, paint the walls, call it a day, and like leave."
I think it just goes to show like how much the women are always there for each other, how they're always helping each other out. You know what I mean? Like they're family.
Right.
Of course.
So then, of course, they learn that, you know, because Sophie has been volunteering at the hospital and she's been hanging around with Jasper DeKimmel and he's dying. And they're like, oh my God, there's an auction for his work. And if we buy something, we can pay for the roof because we can sell it after he dies. And I think he's dying in like a couple days or something.
When do you ever know? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know a lot about death, thank God. But I do know that, like, if someone is like a couple of days ready for death and like, he was literally just at his own art opening. He wasn't in hospice then. Like I'm not a CSI Golden Girls fella, but like that's a little weird.
What do we think this like disease is? Like,
Well,
I know he needs a rare blood transfusion, but like, yeah, he seemed fine, and 3 days later he's just gonna like keel over.
It's like Natasha Richardson when she fell on the ski slope and then she was fine for a
hit
few
his
days.
head.
She was fine for a few days and then she died and everyone thought she was okay, but then she suddenly died. Maybe that has to happen to Jasper.
But they know that he's dying though, because I feel like, and because I think he's like there's a sickness happening. Because I think with those, it's usually a surprise. It's like, oh, they bumped their head or they whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like they just suddenly they had, you know, like brain bleeding that they were unaware of. This is making me feel really sad.
Well, I mean,
but it's
Jasper's
about
dying.
Would you
Jasper's
would you bid on an artist's work knowing that like they were maybe gonna die? Would it, like, you know what I mean?
What about you, Chris?
I feel like I if I had like the money to like do it. See, what I don't understand is like they feel like they have this money to spend $8,000, $9,000 on a painting, but can't spend $10,000 on a roof. And I know they're gonna eventually make it back, but it seems like a very silly plan, even by 80s sitcom standards. But I don't know that like I would. I was gonna ask you guys if you'd ever even been to like an art auction. I've never even been to an auction.
Yes, I have.
What was that like?
Boring. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, that's what I would like assume.
But I mean, on the whole, buying a lot of things to make a quick profit or to like turn the money around, not so much with death or anything or with an artist, but I did have a friend who, remember when Apple had this thing where they were recalling Apple Watches, like new Apple Watches or something?
Yes.
And my friend was like, oh my God, I'm going to buy a ton of these Apple Watches and then resell them once they recall them because people will want them. And I was like, I think that's a bad plan because I feel like this company will just create something that they can sell. And then the thing you're trying to sell won't be as cool because they've already created the new thing that they can sell to make more money off of. And he was like, nah. And he wound up buying like 10 watches. And I was like, I want your credit score, you know? Did
he sell them? Did he sell them?
No, he hasn't. I don't believe he has.
No, that's.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe not, but like, but I still stand by. No, that's not a good plan. Even if you know artist is dying, because didn't Martha Stewart go to prison for that too, where she like bought. Not with artists, but she bought stock because she was
insider trading.
Right, it was insider trading.
So this is insider death knowledge. Maybe this is, you know what I mean?
Wow. Is this a form of insider trading? If
I don't
we have
know,
any
but it feels
lawyers
like
who
it
listen to the
is.
podcast.
Yeah, or anyone who works at La Law, please.
La Law.
Call us.
Work at La Law.
Yes.
Well, the women decide, okay, Jasper's an asshole. We're gonna do it, but like clearly they all have, you know, they all have a conscience inside. So you know, they're all up late. They're torn. They can't sleep. They don't know what to do.
Nothing's fine. I'm torn. Sorry.
Natalie Imbruglia is my aunt's cousin.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Your aunt's isn't she Australian or something?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
What? Americans can't be related to Australians?
I mean,
Jesus.
Seems like far away
It's
to be.
2024. Come on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Wow, that song hit. That
was a good one.
No, that was a
Song
really,
hit.
really good one.
It is literally the
she's
song
gorgeous,
I probably
too.
quote the most in my life.
Really? What
Yeah,
part?
because every time someone says torn, I say nothing's fine. I'm torn. Like I can't not. I can't not.
It's nothing's right. I'm torn.
Who cares? The song
Every
sucks
week
anyway.
I correct
the song
you.
sucks anyway. What
What
a
is
horrible
happening
song.
right now?
Oh God.
You just did a 180.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yes, I did.
Well,
Yes, I did.
someone's in a bit of a DeKimmel mood tonight.
Call me Sid.
Oh.
Yeah, Sid
Sid
LaBass.
Little
Sid
bass.
Yeah.
So all of the women are, because this Jasper DeKimmel thing is on their minds, except for Rose, which, Chris, before we even started recording, you rattled off everything that Rose ate that's actually keeping her up late at night. I'd love for you to do that again. What did Rose eat?
Okay. A handful of snow caps, a couple of devil dogs, some Oreos. Oh yeah, and a holo chopped up in a bowl of fruit cocktail with heavy syrup.
This, by the way, totally Betty White's diet in her later years.
Yes. Can I say,
yeah.
I experienced this recently too. This episode is very timely for me, I guess. I learned, so I was up late a couple nights ago, helping a friend of the pod, Naomi Small. She was at the live show. She helps me, helping her shoot something. And we went to go have dinner at like midnight. Right, like
What?
at midnight. I know, because we weren't done. So I went to go have dinner, and then I had to go to sleep to get up the next day for an
I
interview.
have to wake up early, but
Early in the morning.
work in the morning.
I didn't sleep a wink that night because of heartburn. I cannot eat and then fall asleep like that anymore. I cannot do it. So Rose's diet was a trigger for me because I was just like, I mean, once you hit the age 25, you can't do that anymore.
No, my Kingdom Fried Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, the words dinner at midnight like just gave me indigestion.
Yeah. What are we, Italian? No.
No.
And
No, I
I'm
can't
someone
do
I
that.
love sometimes, when I'm up late and I just can't sleep, I'll nosh a little bit, but that's noshing. I'll maybe have some
Like a bowl of
olives,
cereal.
maybe
Oh,
maybe a bowl of cereal, maybe
Yeah.
a little, some wheat thins, a little slice of cheese, a laughing
Yeah.
cow, cheesy
Nothing
thing.
like that too.
Having a
Mhm.
meal at midnight is like,
No,
I
I like
can't.
eating Cheerios dry out of the box if I'm like
That's
a
me
little
too, Chris.
hungry.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
okay. We'll do okay. Question. Cheerios, yes, I love a Cheerios. But what other
Mhm.
cereals do you eat dry? Do you eat dry out of the
Okay.
box? I love an
S-
Apple
s-
Jacks.
Okay, so I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I just
Ooh,
got
dry?
Dry. I like it both ways. I like
Because
it
it's
dry
messy in the
and wet.
hands. Don't you think it's?
It
I
is,
love
but
it.
then you like
All-
lick the
All
cinnamon off
cereal
your
is good
fingers
wet,
like you're like,
Chris. All cereal is good wet. Eliminate the wetness. So like the dry though, when you're eating the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's messy in the hands. It's like Cheetos. It's the Cheetos of cereal.
No, it's fine. There's a new one. There's a Cinnamon Toast Crunch waffle that I just got the other day. They're like little like checkered waffle pieces.
Where do you
They're not
stand
really
on
waffle.
frosted mini wheats as a dry snack?
Oh, I haven't had it in years, but I
Mm.
used to ironically eat it when I was younger. Like, yes,
Mhm.
dry out of the box, frosted mini wheats for sure.
Interesting. I love this about you.
I used to like the Cracklin' Oat brand when I
Oh,
was a
no.
little kid. I was
You-
like,
stop
I was
talking.
the
Cracklin' Oat Bran. I've had a war with two of my friends, Elliot Glazer and Brent Sullivan, on my other podcast. They swear that is the best cereal that has ever existed, and I'm like, are you 83? That is not the
Oh,
best
my-
cereal that's ever existed. Have you heard of Frosted Flakes?
No, I know. I always ate old people cereal when I was like a kid. It was just like cornflakes, frosted
Grape
mini
Nuts?
wheats. No, not great. No, that's too far. That's too much.
That's
no,
too Cracklin'
that's-
Oat
yeah.
Bran, but yes, that's too far.
My apologies.
What is
to the Cracklin' Oat Bran
happening?
people.
Sorry, I had to go on that. I love cereal. I love cereal. I love cereal.
I just do love. I love a cereal. Mhm.
Yeah. I'll send you a picture of the top of our cabinet. It's literally all types of cereal. It's just like a whole
Okay.
thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should I just log off? I feel like there's this new friendship that's happening without me here.
Well, I mean, will you eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch out of the box dry?
I don't really eat any cereal dry. If I were to eat any cereal dry, it might be like Cheerios, because I love cereal with milk. So I wouldn't like.
course, everyone
I'll
does.
put Cheerios in a little container for Oreo when we go to the playground, and then I might eat some of her Cheerios. But I don't want your dry cereal. So I don't need to be a part of this friendship group of cereal.
Okay.
I would like to play our next clip
Sure.
We could do that.
as a way to move
Bridge
on
the
from this
gap, yeah.
conversation that I'm
I
feeling
swear to
so
God,
left out of.
if Rose was here, she would have jumped into that dry cereal conversation because you know she has thoughts on dry cereal. You know
She
it.
does.
Mhm.
She
Yes.
does.
Yes. Okay. Should we play this next clip? Let's play.
None of us could sleep. And we all know the reason why.
Why?
You are nothing if not consistent, Rose.
Thank you, Dorothy. But hot water and oat bran every morning takes most of the credit.
So the cereal conversation was actually
Ooh.
apropos because hot water and oat bran?
No, that's terrible.
Like, what is that?
For the record, I hate hot cereal, like oatmeal. It's disgusting.
Oh, see, now
Wow,
I do.
we can never be friends after
Really?
this, Chris.
Oh,
I
no,
love
no,
oatmeal.
No.
Okay. Now, Chris, I do
Please.
disagree. I do think I'm gonna throw a 180 here too. I think oatmeal is the universally loved hot cereal. However, I'm gonna throw something at y'all that if you come to St. Louis, Missouri, and you have my mama's version of this, you will be convinced. Cream of wheat is delicious, made with heavy cream. It basically turns into a sweet treat. It turns into a cinnamon toast crunch essentially, but it is delicious, and I highly recommend it. Put some maple syrup in there. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't just eat plain oatmeal. It has to be dressed up with different textures. There has to be some
Yes.
creaminess, some sweetness.
Put some
Sometimes
craisins
I'll
in
put
there.
some.
Little
I'll
crunch.
usually I might do some almond
Crunch.
butter with some sea salt on top of that. I like blueberries. I like the bananas. I like,
Ooh.
but
That's
plain
getting
oatmeal.
a little too Oregon for me, but okay.
Ooh.
It's very
I live
crunchy.
I live a simple life. I'll put some
Yeah, it's-
pepitas in. Is that better? Is
Some
that a little
what?
bit more exotic?
Oh, you-
Pepitas.
What is a
Oh, you
pepitas?
Californians and
Pumpkin
your
seed.
pepitas and your pumpkin
seeds.
seeds.
Oh yeah, I was like, they're called pumpkin seeds, aren't they? I don't know. Pepitas? I have never heard that before. Pepitas. Sounds like a child's name in some foreign country. I don't know what that
Pepitas.
is. That's so funny.
Pumpkin seed.
Okay.
I love when Sophia goes to tell one of her picture it stories and she's like, picture it, Sardinia. And they're like, wait a minute, I thought these always happened in Sicily. And she's like, what, a person can't go away for the weekend?
That's
I love
true.
that joke in that
That's
scene.
good.
That's
That's
a good
good.
And then, so women decide, like, we're still going to do it. Great, great, great. They go to the auction. And I think this might be the scene, I can't remember, where all the women are wearing different shades of blue. Like it's
Yeah.
like Picasso's blue era, the
Ooh.
outfits that they're wearing. I wrote in my notes, they had a lot of wardrobe changes in this episode.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gorgeous, gorgeous outfits. So when the auctioneer pulls up Jasper DeKimmel's first piece, he goes, it's a small piece, but it'll be worth many times its current value someday. And
I'm
it's like,
surprised-
can that dude say that?
I also like considering that his artwork previously referenced his genitals. I'm surprised that like there was no joke about the small piece.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
You know, like that's what I was thinking while
Mhm.
watching this. I was like, this is a small dick joke waiting to be, or maybe that's just my homosexual brain thinking of penises again. But still, I
Mhm.
think there should have been a small dick joke there.
That's
Yeah,
so
I
funny.
agree.
It was a missed opportunity. I'm sorry. I have a hair in my eye, so I'm
It's
just
fine.
I can
Fine.
still
It's better
I'm
than a
just trying
small
to get it
piece.
out. It's better
Yeah.
than a small penis. Okay. I can say it.
I
I can
hate when
say
those
it.
get in my eye.
I
Oh.
hate when those get in my eye.
Get it away from me.
Get it?
Get it away from me. But you're swatting it, and your hands are bigger than it.
Mhm,
Yeah, sorry.
mhm.
Okay.
But luckily, I am married to a man who doesn't have that
Ah.
problem.
He's Italian.
Oh God.
He's Italian.
Funny, he didn't
Okay.
look Italian.
Oh God, we just watched that episode. I was like, the women are straight on assaulted
Yeah.
by that man. There's so many ways to tell people I'm not your friend Blanche versus them
Yes.
just showing that, like, here I have a dick, I'm not Blanche. So they end up getting the DeKimmel painting for $9,000 after they go through. I love it. It's such a sitcom bit
Oh,
with them like accidentally raising the paddle, and
it's so good.
It's so good. It's
Yeah.
so
I
good.
love the guy in the back who was bidding, like with the guy in the suit standing in the back. I love that guy. He understood the assignment.
He understood. He understood. Yes.
He made the most of a non-speaking,
Which,
role.
I mean, if you're
Like,
gonna
he was
do,
very good.
if you're just a guest, or if you're just like a background actor, you might as well. You know what I mean? Like, do something. Pick your nose.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm on a really great sitcom. I'm going to be memorable.
Yeah.
So they get the painting, and then somehow from a payphone, the women are able to call Sophia in a hospital room where she's giving blood, even though they don't know what room she's in, because they don't know she's there to give blood. They know she volunteers.
I bet they had MCI.
That's a joke from the pilot, isn't it? I can't even get through to MC with MCI.
I think so.
Yeah.
But how do they know where she is? How did they know the phone number to the hospital?
She works at the hospital. You know what I mean?
Funny. I was like, what? And so Sophia's in a room with a nurse, and and she's there.
She's the one who saves Jasper's life. Which
she saves his life and gets a cookie.
I want to know. Yeah. Another small dick joke. I want to know what. I want to know what Sophia gave. That was. I mean, I think we're supposed to assume it's blood, but like, what about Sophia's blood saved Jasper's life?
Well, she must have a rare blood type, whatever. Yeah.
What is a rare blood type? I don't know.
What is his
or
condition?
Negative, B, A, B, C.
I think
Do you all know your blood types?
I have no
but
idea.
It's on my license. I don't know where my license is, and
yours is on your license.
I think so. Yeah, they asked me about it, I believe.
Oh, mine did. They asked me if I want to be an organ donor. I don't know.
Yeah, I have that. I have that as well, but it doesn't.
Every
say
time I
blood
select
type.
it, I always tell to the lady, I'm like, not like anyone wants them, and she never laughs. She never laughs.
Sure, they hear it a ton of times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might be O positive. I think that might be my blood
That's the
type.
rare kind, I think.
But,
No,
I don't know.
no,
Yes.
I don't have a rare kind. No, I think O positive is
I'm Z negative.
universal blood type. I can't give blood. I have a blood disorder, so
You
I
can't
can
give
never.
blood. Well,
No,
neither
and I feel like it's such a group O, right? Is universal.
Well, you're like a ton of other homosexual men who also can't give
I
blood.
know.
Although they've lifted that recently. I don't know the full thing on that, but they've done some changes with that. So progress.
Yeah, I
Who
think
wants
it's sort of
blood?
like, don't they say like that you have to have like been like you have to be married, you have to be, aren't there like a
No,
certain set of
it's not a
criteria? Did they lift
married-
all that?
But they lifted something about I think they test. I don't know what it is, but it's not a whole married thing. It is like
Okay.
I think there is like if you've been with the same person for a period of time, but it's like 3 months or something. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still not great. Straight people out there boning whoever they want, giving blood left and right.
That's
I'm
the
like,
thing.
I
I'm
gotta
like
stick
that.
with the same dude for 3
weird.
months just to help someone's life. Come on, I'm
Yeah.
busy. I like talking to people.
Yeah. It's so they do the thing,
Yes.
and Sophia ends up saving Jasper DeKimmel's life, which
Dorothy faints, and
yes, Dorothy faints.
Yes.
Love it when Dorothy faints on this
I
show.
love
But now they're in a
Yes.
pickle because they don't know what they're going to do. They have this very expensive painting in them that's not worth anything anymore, and the man's not going to die. How dare him? What a dick.
Yep. And to Chris's point, the women, if they had $9,000 to buy the painting, they could have gotten the $10,000 just to fix the roof. I would have liked to have seen them kind of maybe lean into the greed a little bit more than because they do say we can fix the roof and then have extra money. But it would have been nice maybe for them to lean into that a little bit more because that's the sort of the lesson of greed is that you don't always get what you want.
And I just have to say, one of my favorite things in the show is when they're being money grubbing, like crazy people, like get rich quick schemes. And I know it's like not a good message. And they always learn their lesson that it's not about money, it's about friendship and love and all that crap. But I love when they're like fighting over like money and they're like there's an entire episode about it. So like I enjoy when they're being like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be really funny. What what does Sophia say in that one episode? Nope, I can't remember it. Never mind. So, Sid Labasse comes back, and the women, of course, don't have the money, but turns out this, like,
Sid's an art lover.
he's an art lover.
What a twist.
What a
Oh, what a
twist.
fun twist
Don't
on the
judge a book
most.
by its cover. You never know. Sid's out there. Might be the Picassos of the world. You never know.
Yeah, but he's a huge Jasper DeKimmel fan, and he's going to take the painting and give them a new roof. But Sophia's driving a hard bargain, and honestly, they kind of leave it on a mystery because he never actually agrees because she's like, no, whatever, and then he follows her into the kitchen.
I would trust Sophia to get the best deal out of this. I would trust Sophia in this situation. I would definitely be like, let the master do her work. Y'all go into the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sophia's just like my mother-in-law. Like, she drives a hard bargain. She will haggle. Like, it's an art to her. She is a haggling artist. She's amazing. And she'll haggle somebody at like a garage sale or something, and that knowing it's worth something, and she'll turn around and like flip it on eBay and sell it for like $500. I love it. I love it. It's such a hustle.
Like that. I'm only like that with like telemarketers or people on the phone. Like, if I need to call an insurance thing, I'll end that call getting what I need out of it. But like, it's gonna be a journey, and you're gonna see me look like an asshole. This is what it is. This is what it is. Well,
And that's the episode.
It was a fantastic episode. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. This is a classic episode.
It is.
Yeah.
I think it's very fun. It's got great scenes. I think the auction scene is one of the classic scenes. There's so much physical humor with the paddles and everything. It's great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, should we take a break and come back with our golden takeaways?
Yes.
Okay. And we are back with our golden takeaway, which, Chris, it's a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Now, Chris, I'm not going to put you on the spot, even though I know you've been listening to this podcast for years and years. You know exactly what a golden takeaway is. You should do a t-shirt about a golden takeaway. Anyway, Kerri, how about you start with the golden takeaway?
This episode reminded me under what circumstances I enjoy going to museums. I know technically we were at a gallery, but we were talking about art. We were looking at art. And when I just go to, like, I remember when I lived in New York and I'd go to the Met and stuff, I'd like be looking at something and I'm like, okay, does this move me in any way emotionally? And if I wasn't familiar with the piece of artwork, I'd end up kind of getting bored, and then I would just like stare at something because I felt like an asshole if I walked away too soon. But when I was in college, I took a bunch of art history classes and I fell in love with paintings through stories and books. And so by the time I actually found a museum where I would run into one of these paintings that I learned about in a book, it was actually way more exciting for me. And I remember specifically, and it's so silly, but there were two paintings. One was Gauguin, which is one of my favorite Sophia jokes. I've never seen my husband's Gauguin. He has a painting called Where Do We Come From? What Are We? Where Are We Going? And I saw that in person in Boston. And then I had like a Dada phase in college where I loved the artist Marcel Duchamp. He was the one who flipped the urinal upside down, called it a fountain. They were real like this kind of artists. And he had a postcard of the Mona Lisa, and at the bottom he wrote LHOOQ, and he drew like a little mustache on her. And people were like, what the fuck does this mean? And I guess if you say LHOOQ really fast in French, it's something like LHOOQ, and that means like she has a nice ass. And it always made me laugh. And I saw it in person and I was like, oh, I love this because I know the story behind it. And anyway, it was just sort of taking me back to those. Oh, whose Alexa is that?
Not mine.
No.
But I love it. Maybe it's a Gauguin talking to you.
I feel like that was me, but I don't know where it came from.
Wow.
That's okay.
Jasper DeKimmel, are you with us right now? Oh my goodness.
Jasper is Casper after all.
Oh my God. Well, my golden takeaway from this episode is I said something that I regret on this episode, and I made fun of small penises. And I just want to say here and now that small penises are lovely. I have been with a number of gentlemen with not so large numbers. And I just want to say that there are still things to be offered by a small penis. I'm not saying I have one, but I'm just saying that they are lovely, delightful, and I would never say no to looking at it.
That's lovely. I thought you
Thank
were going to
you.
say, I thought you were going to apologize to Natalie and Brulia, but
Nothing's fine. I'm torn.
still getting the lyrics wrong. Chris, what's your golden takeaway?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I loved your thing about art because I don't really get art either. But I went to Florence and saw the statue of David in person, and seeing that was just like amazing. But
More penises.
I
Also,
will
talking
say-
to small penises.
I will say though, like going back to Sophia saving someone's life by like donating blood. I've actually never donated blood, but I feel like I would like to donate blood, and I think I mostly have never done it because I've just been, I don't like to have needles in my arm, and it just seems scary, and I'm scared of like fainting afterwards. But I think, donating blood and saving someone's life is a very important thing, and I feel like everyone should be able to like do that. So
it's so
I want to save someone's life.
I know.
And you
I
get a
would give
cookie.
so much
And
blood.
you get apple juice and a cookie.
Oh, and I love apple juice, and I love cookies.
Yeah, I love cookies.
Not a dick joke.
That feels like the perfect moment to go out on. Oh my goodness. Chris,
I think so.
remind everybody where they can find you on all the socials and buy your work.
Yes. So on Instagram, I'm at golden_girls_posters. I'm on Twitter as GG Posters. I also do like, I had written a Golden Girls blog where I reviewed every episode. It's called shutupbros.com, which I had completed a couple years ago. So where I catalog all the quotes. My link tree on my Instagram will bring you to, my TeePublic page where I sell my shirts, my Etsy link. I sell a lot of my prints on there. I sell my Pride t-shirt on there. So I'm most active on Instagram. So like find me there at Golden Girls Posters and I'll come up and all my links are there.
I love it. Everyone should go.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh my God,
Everyone
thank you for
needs to
having
go
me.
Buy a shirt. They need to go buy a shirt. If you are a Golden Girls fan and you don't own one of Chris's shirts, then I don't think you're doing the Golden Girls fan thing right. I mean,
My
I know
Created by Susan Harris shirt is one of my faves.
that's what I'm saying. So go to Chris's Instagram or whatever, the link tree, and click on the thing and buy the things. And Chris, you stick around until the end because we have to do something together, but we have some business to do. Yes.
Okay.
And you all can go to our YouTube channel if you want to watch this episode the Monday after this drops. And what else was I going to say?
I might even press publish early too. Who knows?
Oh,
you never know.
You did do
You
that
never know.
last
You
week.
never know. Maybe I will. The people need to see Chris's beautiful face. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
And remember that you can also check out the GGBIP Club at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast, where you can get this episode ad free. You can get the video a lot earlier, and you get the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour live watch alongs. So much great stuff over there. So please check it out if you can. And this has been another episode of Out on the Lanai. We will see you back here next week for more Golden Girls greatness.
And remember that we are a part of Mom Moguls of Media, so go support Mom Plus, and you can also follow us on social media at Golden Girls Pod on how would Jasper say it, on the Twitter, or Out on the Lanai Official on Instagram. How dreadful! Golden Girls Pod on whatever face, and I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines on everything.
And I am Squid Eat Squid on Twitter and Squidsy on Instagram. And if you want to do something else awesome for the podcast, you can rate and review us wherever you get this pod. Say something nice. Leave us all the stars.
Yeah, I mean, especially for all the new listeners who are listening and like listening to old episodes and doing all the things, the ratings do actually help, even though you've been listening for years and years. So please go give us a little rating. It really does help us out a lot. And then finally, Chris, this is where you come in. You know exactly what to do. Remember,
as always,
stay
golden.
Oh, that was maybe the best Stay Golden we've had from a guest.
Go buy a shirt from Chris. Go to his Instagram. Buy it now.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.